Hey class, how is everybody? This is the video for week 5, the social justice video blog. And I'm just going to jump right into the questions. The first question is your understanding of how cultural humility, cultural awareness, advocacy, and social justice are important in the counseling profession. To me, cultural humility and cultural awareness go hand in hand. So being culturally aware of my clients is very important. And for me, that's understanding that my client, although he's human or they're human, and we share the similarities as human beings, but we are different in our values, the way that we were raised, and what we were taught to believe. And I think part of being culturally aware is also educating yourself on your client's background, so you have a better understanding of what those values are and how they were raised. And just by being culturally aware, you become culturally humble. You understand that your culture isn't the only culture, and that your culture isn't right either, because it's different. So my example would be like, I am a Latino man. I'm Puerto Rican, and my culture is very similar to Mexican culture per se. However, because they're Mexican and we speak Spanish, doesn't mean that the culture is the same. Their values are slightly different, and how they present themselves is very different, even though we're Spanish. So understanding more about that culture for me would be to look into their background and look at their history and look at how they do things, and then that gives us as counselors a better idea. So that's just an example. And then for me, that's cultural humility. Plus, also, like, for me, cultural humility is understanding my own biases, reflecting on myself. So I'm learning from my client, but I'm also reflecting on myself. I'm also learning who my client is, and then not that I'm comparing, but that I'm just looking at myself, saying, we are very different people. So how do I use our differences to help our client? And that's just important. The other thing is just not to go in there and be hubris, and maybe display some microaggressions that may exist. You never know. As far as like Bible verses or spiritual quotation, I chose Zechariah 7, 9, and 10. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, execute true judgment and shew mercy and compassion every man to his brother, and oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. And I think that really just encompasses just social justice in general, how we as counselors are supposed to have. One of the things that we learned in this class was empathy. So having empathy is really important, which is the compassion for every man to his brother. And the other thing is to not oppress. And I mean that, for what it is, just to not oppress. I mean, we just because we're counselors, we can have, that tendency to feel upright or whatever, and not realize that we're oppressing our clients. So that was my verses there. And then an action that you will take to develop or demonstrate cultural humility with clients. And I think that one of the biggest actions that I can take would be to learn about my client's history and culture, listen to my client, listen to what they're saying, so that I understand how that affects their life experience or their view, their perspective on life. And then that will help me to better address them as a whole person. So by doing this, I'll be showing my client a very genuine interest in their story. And that's one of the biggest things that we can do, because that's just going to forge confidence in the client to want to talk to you. And then the final question is an action that you will take to advocate or engage in social justice for your client's population. I am an avid filmmaker, and of course, as you can tell, I do online. I'm an online content creator as well. So I think that I can use this platform here to give a voice to those who don't have a voice, to talk about the social justice issues that affect the everyday people, especially in my community, and to bring awareness of those social issues that we deal with. So I think that's how I can contribute. And by using my platform, I mean, I can talk about everything and anything from abortion or whatever other issues exist out there that I haven't really put my hands on quite yet. But, this is just one of those platforms, one of those gifts that I feel that God gave me that I can use, in essence, to try and not be a better person, but to be a brother to my fellow man and my fellow Christians. So, guys, I hope you like the video. Leave me a comment. Like I said, any critiques are taken, possibly used. And you guys have a good week. I pray you guys are doing well. We're in our 5th week. I think there's like 3 more weeks to go. So have a blessed week, guys. Bye.